Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
And I am Sam the Game Professor.
Maddie could not make it this week. It's a toss-up on if she'll be back multiple of the remainder of the weeks. But yeah, she's played this game a bajillion times, so even if...
We don't know whether she lives or dies at this point.
It's true. But yeah, today we will be discussing the... is there anything besides Gold Saucer, or is that the first place we go?
Oh, we talk about being on the ship. We talk about Costa del Sol. We talk about North Corel. We talk about the Gold Saucer. Then we talk about Corel Prison.
I couldn't remember if we stopped after the boat or on the boat. But it's on the boat, so we have boat stuff, and then we have the extended the greater Golden Saucer metropolitan area.
Yes.
Yep.
Gold Saucer, Fort Worth.
Yes. And as a reminder, we're selling out play Final Fantasy VII so that we can get eyes on our normally our best of the rest poll, but this year is our auto buy RPGs for Bernard. Our poll is between Skies of Arcadia and Paper Mario, so you can go and vote at www.rpgbook.club. Skies of Arcadia is handily winning with a unanimous vote right now, so I need 8 of you Paper Mario fans to come out of the woodwork and turn it around. But before we get to all of that, how was everybody's week?
You know how I was sick when we recorded like 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a little sick.
Yuck.
I still have a runny nose. It's gross. I hate it.
I think something's been going around because I had that same basic thing like a few weeks ago, I guess like a month ago at this point. And then a bunch of other people I know had the same thing where it's kind of like a cold, but it's an extremely shitty cold. And then the after effects just stick around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And it's not COVID somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. My extended polycule. So I technically only have one partner right now, but they have like 50. So the extended family of my polycule has one of them has been sick basically every day for the past like 3 months, and it's yuck. None of them have been me so far, which is great. That's what I get for only interacting with one of the lot of them. But yeah, sickness sucks, and I hope my kiddos don't get sick because sick kids are the worst, except for their body gets tired and they fall asleep like in the middle of the day, and then it's quiet. But don't tell them that I said that. I had something. Oh yeah, I remember what it is. So my week has been pretty cool. Did you have anything else to say, Bernard? Not to segue away from you if you weren't done.
I'm getting a new job. My last day at my old job is in 6 days, and I am eager to leave because I hate doing customer service. I'm really fucking good at customer service, but I hate it so much.
It sucks. Yeah,
and
absolutely do.
I'm going into a job that's not customer facing, and I don't actually know when I'm starting yet because they're probably going to push back my start date until the new year. But we'll see.
I hope not, because that would suck.
I mean, it would suck not having income for a couple of weeks, but it would be nice being off for the holidays.
Mm-hmm. When I got my job at IT Freedom, real heads remember when I got my job at IT Freedom. I started that one like the week before Christmas, and so I got I started, and they still were like, "Go home for Christmas. No one gives a crap. Everyone can take off." And then Storm was born like 2 weeks after that, and they were just like, take the rest of the week off. It's no big deal. You just had a baby. You don't qualify for parental leave or whatnot. So we're just going to. It's a 25-person company. The CEO can just sign off and say you get paid for 4 days and you don't have to work. Just go be with your kid.
It's nice.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that energy for you, Bernard.
Thank you. I will try to have a child.
Yeah.
Good luck. You got a few days, I guess.
But yeah, so my week has been really cool. So a long time ago, I saved a bunch of Windows 7 era HP thin clients from the dumpster, because I was like, oh, I can probably put video games on these things, and I was able to, and I had a couple of them, just like friends and family I'd made some for, but I saved like 12 and only had used like 2, so they had just been sitting in my drawers for a long time, and I was like, you know what, I should finally try and like get rid of these. So I had put up a post on Nextdoor to be like, hey, if anybody wants like an emulation box, I can make one for you. I can't put any games on it for legal reasons, but I can definitely not wink tell you where to find them. And so I put up that post and was expecting like 1 or 2, and my entire inventory has been moved, and that's kind of cool.
Wow.
And it feels great to like give the gift of gaming. So I want to do it, but I don't have the ability to like jump in and do it right now. But I really want to start my like game modding and restoration business. Like, doing this week has felt fantastic, and it would be great to feel fantastic all the time. So if anybody wants me to mod and or repair an old console, head on over to www.rpgbook.club, where there's a link to our Discord that's not as easy to say, and hit me up. I would love to do that. But yeah, other than that, I've started playing Sonic Frontiers, and it's fantastic.
I love Sonic Frontiers so much.
I haven't gotten off of Amy's Island. I haven't gotten my second Chaos Emerald, but I don't care. And I haven't, like, yes, it's just Sonic Breath of the Wild, but it's Sonic Breath of the Wild, and that's fucking cool. And I'm just having a blast. I always thought, like, because boost gameplay came around because, like, Sonic is fast. How do you make a game out of fast? And I always thought, like, no, you don't need linear straight levels to just boost through. You need big wide open spaces, so you can be like, how fast can I get to that mountain over there? And you can get to that mountain pretty fucking fast, and it's really cool to get to that mountain real fast. And it's exactly what I wanted back when I thought of that so long ago. Not saying that Sonic was my idea, but I just thought that Sonic would fit great in an open world, and I was right.
You're not Yujinaki. You're not going to take all the credit for Sonic.
Here's an idea. I'm going to take all the credit for Sonic, and so that I can get a job at Square Enix, do a lot of insider trading, and then release a game that's so bad that nobody ever talks about it, except for the fact that it was really, really bad.
This sounds like a plan.
Let's do it.
A good plan.
But what about you, Nigga Sam?
Well, let's see. My week was fairly like, not a whole lot happens with me generally, which I guess is a good thing. Had a few dates with a new person that went really well. Got a good thing going on, so that's cool. Played some games. I finally started Inscription, which is very good. Choo Choo Charles is out today. I don't know if I'm actually... Have you two heard of that?
No.
Is that the one with the train that is a spider?
Yeah, the evil spider train, and you have your own train, and you have to upgrade it in an open world setting until it's powerful enough that you can kill Charles.
All I knew was that there was a train that was a spider. I didn't know all that other stuff.
Yep, it's a spider train with an evil, scary face, and it's an open world game where you have to figure out how to upgrade your train enough that you can kill Charles. And it looks extremely good and also horrifying. So I'll probably play it at some point, someday when I get up the courage, I suppose. I also finally restarted, because I started it a couple times and barely played any, but restarted Disco Elysium because I need to play it for a Patreon thing. It's very good so far.
I should play that.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Just the way that they use RPG mechanics for everything, like elements of your psyche that can, just basic things like empathy or manipulation, every little thing. It's just constantly rolling stuff and being like, oh, you figure this out. What do you want to say? It's very cool. So yeah, just stuff mostly. Stuff's all right.
Nice. Oh, the other thing that I did is I was plagued by the evils of for-profit medicine.
Oh no.
I thought that my dentistry copay was $15 per cleaning, but because I haven't been to the dentist since I was 7 years old, they have to do mega cleaning, and the copay for that is $90.
Yes.
And they've done 3 of them so far, so that's a lot of money that I don't really have. So I'm going to hopefully trick them into at least finishing my mouth, and then stop going to the dentist for a couple of months to be able to afford going to the dentist again. I was trying to get a lot of things done before my insurance ran out, but I don't have the money to do a lot of stuff at $80 a pop by the end of the year.
And the way this country, the way it does all its health insurance is bullshit, but the way that it thinks of dentistry, your teeth is a completely different thing from the rest of your health is so stupid. It sucks.
Mm-hmm. I hate it. But yeah, it feels great to actually finally have my teeth cleaned, because I thought so much of what was wrong with my mouth was a failure on my part. I didn't brush enough as a kid, and so my teeth are pirate teeth. But no, my teeth were just wearing a nice little warm blanket, and once you remove the blanket, my teeth are actually relatively healthy. And for the fact that I haven't been since I was 7, my dentists were all yeah, this is fine, you're going to get 6 fillings, and most people that haven't been to the dentist in decades get teeth removed and replaced. You're fine, you did great. And it was a real boost to my irrational fear that I'm going to go to the doctor, and the doctor's going to say, you're actually dead. You died in 1995. But yeah, speaking of things that are dead, tune in next week. But things that aren't dead, let's listen to some Final Fantasy VII music and talk about the plot. I don't think we're going to get to the ancient temple next week, but it was too good of a segue.
I don't know what you're talking about. So this week is going to be shorter because the notes are shorter, and also we're down a person, and we're down the person that talks the most. So
I don't know. I can take up a lot of time with all of my memorable moments, but
all right, well,
feel free.
Maybe this episode will be the same length. let's see.
I'll just pick up the slack and talk more.
Fantastic. So when we last left the gang, they were aboard a Shinra ship disguised as Shinra soldiers. You go around and have funny interactions with everyone, especially Red 13, whose disguise is less convincing than the others. Eventually you run into Barrett, and he has a gun for an arm, so his disguise also is not very convincing. Shinra has specifically been looking for a man with a gun for an arm. So I don't know how this works. I'm hoping in the remake, like, he temporarily replaces it with a pirate hook or something.
I hope it's stupider than that, because it deserves to be stupid.
Yes. Anyway, Barrett is watching Rufus and Heidegger through a window. He threatens to end this here and now, but an alarm cuts him off. A voice says there's a stowaway on board and to search the ship immediately. Barrett wonders if they or the others have been spotted. The gang convenes on the deck. They wonder if the stowaway might be Sephiroth. Cloud and 2 other party members remove their disguises and head below deck to find Sephiroth. There's dead soldiers there. Oh, dang. The gang, or the party, I use gang when it's the entire group. I use party when it's just 3 characters.
Mm-hmm.
The party enters the engine room, also full of dead people. A voice says its sleep is at an end, and the time has come. Sephiroth floats up through the floor. He asks Cloud who he is. Cloud is like, what? But also demands to know what Sephiroth is doing. Sephiroth just says the time is coming, then flies away and throws a piece of Genova at them. We fight Genova.birth. After the fight, the gang stands over Genova's arm. Sephiroth had been carrying it around with him. Party members 2 and 3 ask Cloud to explain what Sephiroth meant by the time having come. Cloud explains that Sephiroth said he was going to search for the Promised Land and become ruler of the planet 5 years ago. Then he reappeared and murdered President Shinra. Then, just now, they saw him carrying Genova. He's taking Genova with him to the Promised Land.
I love how Fox just kind of like, well, you know, all the stuff that I explained yesterday and the stuff we already saw. That's what's going on.
Yeah, when Aerith was like, Cloud, can you explain this? I was like, have you not been paying attention?
He does indeed just explain all the shit we already know.
I mean, the only, revelation here is that Sephiroth is taking Genova to the Promised Land, but it could have just been like Cloud, instead of this whole thing, it could have just been like Cloud saying, whoa, he's carrying Genova with him. He's taking her to the Promised Land. Anyway, an announcement announces that they'll be docking at Costa del Sol soon, even though most of the crew is dead at this point, and you'd think this would be a bigger deal. As they leave the engine room, Cloud wonders if the Promised Land really exists. The gang arrives in the beachside paradise of Costa del Sol. They have some cute dialogue, then leave the dock. A helicopter flies in. Rufus and Heidegger exit the ship and talk about how Sephiroth was apparently on board along with Cloud's gang. Rufus scolds Heidegger for letting them get away, then boards the helicopter and flies off. The gang splits up and explores Costa del Sol. On the beach, Cloud spots Hojo relaxing, surrounded by babes. Cloud asks Hojo what he's up to. Hojo just says they're pursuing the same thing. He asks Cloud if he's ever felt like someone is calling him or compelling him to go places. Cloud is like, whatever. If Aerith is there, she asks Hojo if Genova and Sephiroth are ancients, and if she's related to them. Hojo just mumbles something about, to the west, and stops talking to them. The gang leaves Costa del Sol to, I guess, head to the west. They meet a guy who says a man in a black cloak came by and ignored him when he said it was dangerous up ahead. They pass by what looks like a giant Mako reactor, pass over some wacky train tracks with, you guessed it, a bespoke microgame mechanic, cross an enormous bridge, and arrive in the shittiest town yet. When they enter the town of North Corel, a bunch of dudes hassle Barrett, saying how he's got a lot of nerve coming here, and he destroys everything he touches, and it's his fault Corel was destroyed, and he's a techno freak. Barrett just meekly apologizes. There's not much to do here, but if you talk to a particular guy, he says he saw a man in a black cloak with a number tattoo. Could this also be a foreshadowing? The gang convenes at a ropeway station. They ask Barrett what happened. He says his hometown used to be around here, but 4 years ago it was destroyed, and it was all his fault. He explains that Corel used to be a coal mining town. Then Scarlet and some Shinra goons showed up and convinced the town to build a Mako reactor. Everyone in town, including Barrett, was for it, except for one guy named Dine. Dine said they should stick to mining coal like their fathers' fathers' fathers'. Barrett says this will make their poor town wealthy, and he doesn't want his wife, Myrna, to live like this anymore. I have to pause and say Dine was right. They shouldn't build a planet-destroying Mako reactor. They should stick to clean, efficient, non-planet-destroying coal.
Yeah, it really does show its age here a bit. Like it's easy to compare, the Mako reactor stuff to like climate change and global warming and stuff, but it's clearly being viewed through the lens of nuclear power versus non-nuclear, which I can see why a game made in Japan would focus on that on account of the whole "we nuked them twice" thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's certainly just showing its age a little bit. I think that the metaphor still reads pretty strong. Just the specifics of it are a little dated.
Yeah, absolutely. I had forgotten that we used to be afraid of nuclear energy, and so I've always just read Mako reactors, even though it's reactors and stuff, as coal plants, natural gas plants. But no. It's the coal is the good guys here.
Yes.
Can I just say, too, it's very silly that they're all like, oh, Barrett ruined this. It's all Barrett's fault, even though Dine's literally the only person on the council or whatever who didn't want to do it. Barrett and those 5 other dudes or whatever. I don't know why they're singling him out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand there needs to be a fall guy, and he's the only named character, so...
Or else are they going to do NPC_17? You can't blame that guy.
I mean, technically, there's a village headman as a named character.
Oh, I mean, that's just a Hideo Kojima character. It's village headman's fault.
That's his whole name.
Village is his given name, and headman is his surname.
Yes.
Yes. Despite Dine's protests, the town went ahead with the construction of the Mako reactor. But one day when Barrett and Dine were away, the town was burned down by Shinra troops. There had been an explosion at the Mako reactor, and Shinra had said it was the work of rebels from town. President Barrett says even more than Shinra, he can't forgive himself for going along with it. Tifa says they all fell for Shinra's promises back then, which I think is an interesting little wrinkle of nuance that how Shinra has fairly recently been making big promises of improving the world and stuff, and even people like Barrett and Tifa, who are totally against them now, really believed it at the time.
Kind of like Tesla.
Yes. Anyway, the gang needs to continue on the critical path, so they board the ropeway, which takes them to the Gold Saucer, an enormous theme park suspended on a pillar. That's right, a shiny rich people zone suspended above an impoverished town.
If I had a nickel for every time that the rich people literally lived on top of the poor people, I would have 3 nickels, but it's wild that it happened 3 times in one game.
Yes. And we're not even halfway through the first disc.
Yeah.
In all fairness, I don't remember if it happens again after this, but...
Yeah, I don't think it does, but still. So they're at Disney World, and Aerith is ready to go wild, but Barrett's mood is still in the toilet. He gets frustrated with Aerith and runs off. Cloud can choose someone to explore the Gold Saucer with, and naturally, we pick Aerith. While going about, some sort of cat robot riding some sort of Moogle robot marches up and introduces itself as a fortune-telling machine named Ket Shi, or Kate Sith. What are we going to call it?
Ket
Are we going to... What?
Ket Shi.
We're going to use the actual pronunciation?
I mean, we're using the actual, we're saying Aerith, so, may as well say Ket Shi, too.
Fair enough. I'm certain if Maddie Grace were here, she would insist on Kate Sith.
I mean, I'm down for that, if only to disrespect this stupid fucker, but no.
Only a Ket Shi deals in absolutes.
Oh dear. Anyway, Cloud is like, if you're a fortune-telling machine, can you tell me where Sephiroth is? Ket Shi makes a few attempts which dispense generic fortune cookie-ass fortunes, but eventually he produces an ominous one. You will find the one you seek, yet lose what you hold most dear. Ket Shi is like, that's weird. I'm joining your party without your consent. Cloud is powerless to resist. It's a bit of a memorable moment, but I find it really funny how Cloud's like, no, wait, but then Ket Shi just walks into him and is absorbed into his body as a party member. And that's the moment he becomes a party member. Just the blocking of it and the way it happens was very funny to me.
I will say there are, I still haven't actually finished 9. I need to, but I remember being more hesitant about what was its name, Quina?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was just like, this thing's creepy. Why is it in my party now? First, Ket Shi, I was like, oh, that's okay, fine, whatever, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good thing this cat robot isn't like a spy for the Turks or anything, and isn't going to have a big whole reveal later, and we can just accept him directly into our party.
That
would be ridiculous. Anyway, Cloud, Aerith, and now Ket Shi continue exploring the gold saucer and find a dead guy. The party investigates further and finds a room full of dead guys. But these dead guys were shot, and Cloud says Sephiroth would never use a gun. One person, barely clinging to life, says a man with a gun for an arm did this. The gang's like, Then some guards and the gold saucer's owner, a wrestler-looking guy named Dio, enter and accuse the party of killing all these guys. A bunch of murder robots capture the party and take them down to the ground below. Interestingly, the party is accused of doing all this, and the murder robots take them down to the ground, but the whole gang is going to be on the ground, and I don't know why the rest of the gang is there. But anyway, on the ground, they're in just a, shitty junkyard place surrounded by desert. Ket Shi says this is Corel Prison, a spot in the middle of the desert surrounded by quicksand, impossible to escape. Except there might be a way. ... The party notices Barrett standing over a dead body. A dead body. They're like, what the fuck? He says he's got something to take care of and to stay out of it. The party follows Barrett and runs into him in a shitty shack. He says he didn't want them involved. The rest of the gang enters and Tifa convinces Barrett to trust them. Red 13 asks about the murders. Barrett says there's another man with a gun arm. 4 years ago, Barrett and Dine were returning to town, but saw it burning in the distance. Dine says they have to head back to the village and save who they can. Shinra troops show up and start blasting. Barrett and Dine try to escape, but Dine gets hit and falls off a cliff. Barrett catches him by the hand. Dine says Eleanor and Marlene are waiting for them. They've got to get back to the village. Barrett is like, I'm not letting go. But then the soldiers blast Barrett in Dine's hands, causing Dine to fall. Barrett tells the gang that after that he couldn't use his right arm, and eventually had it removed so he could get a gun grafted in. The doctor had told him there was another guy who wanted the same operation, except it was his left arm. Aerith is like, this guy obviously hates Shinra and is armed, sounds like a potential party member. Barrett says he doesn't know, but he has to apologize to Dine. The gang convinces Barrett to let them come along. Well, to let Cloud and one other person come along. The rest are going to hang back for some reason.
So I love that, like, in universe, we have the PHS cell phone, which is a cell phone. They explained it thoroughly that it is a cell phone that you can use to call everybody.
Later this week, Aerith is going to call Cloud just to chat on the PHS.
But also explicitly in the text with the whole dolphin thing, they're like, "Oh, Cloud, you're the only person that has to break in, because then you can just call us on the PHS and get us in." So is it a cell phone, or is it a teleporter? Or is it a teleporting cell phone?
I thought in that thing they actually specifically had Barrett take away the PHS because it would break if it got wet.
Now I don't remember.
I mean, it's all just excuses to affect your ability to switch party members, right? Like,
yeah, I'm pretty sure they take away the PHS so that you can't switch party members at the save points after that point, after dolphin shit.
Yeah, maybe so. I'll look up the wordage as we continue.
All right. So the party with Barrett now wanders around the desert until they find a junkyard on a cliff. Dine is there, firing rounds at nothing. Barrett greets him, but Dine is not happy to see him. Barrett tries to apologize, and Dine fires at him. Dine says he can hear Eleanor begging him not to hate Barrett. That's why he didn't hunt Barrett down. Barrett says he doesn't expect forgiveness, but wants to know why Dine is killing all these people who weren't even involved. Dine has been driven mad by despair. He says he wants to destroy everything. The whole damn world. He has nothing left here. Corel, Eleanor, and Marlene are all gone. Barrett tells Dine that Marlene is alive. Barrett managed to get back to the village after his and Dine's hands got shot, and found Marlene survived. He says she's in Midgar, and they can go see her together. Dine says they have to fight. He says Eleanor's lonely. She needs to have Marlene with her. Marlene wants to see her mom, right? He fires at Barrett. Barrett says he can't die here. Dine says his life ended that day. Barrett and Dine fight. Barrett wins. Dine falls to his knees. He says he didn't just lose his arm. He lost something irreplaceable. Where did it all go wrong? He says he wants to destroy everything, this whole world, even himself. Barrett asks, what about Marlene? What's going to happen to her? Dine says even if he went to her, she wouldn't know him, she wouldn't understand, and these hands are too stained to hold her again. Dine tosses a pendant to Barrett. He says it belonged to Eleanor, and that Barrett should give it to Marlene. Dine limps towards the cliff and tells Barrett to never make Marlene cry. He spreads his arms and tips himself over the cliff. Barrett says he's no different. His hands are just as stained. Well, that was depressing. Let's cheer ourselves up with a racing of chocobos. The gang finds out that being selected as a jockey and winning the chocobo race will get them a pardon. So they do that, complete with a goofy-ass minigame. Cloud wins the race. Cloud gets a letter from Dio saying he pardons the gang's crimes and is giving them a gift as an apology. Aerith calls Cloud on the PHS and says the assistant manager just gave them a buggy which can cross, quote, deserts, unquote, and, quote, rivers, unquote. Nice! There are quotes around rivers and deserts in the original version. They probably took that out of the version y'all are playing, but it's very funny. However, Cloud notices there's more to the letter. There's a postscript where Dio says he recently met Sephiroth, who must be pretty popular with boys Cloud's age. Dio suggests getting Sephiroth's autograph and says he's headed towards Gongaga to the south. Sounds like that's where we're headed next.
That is the weirdest, most clumsy way to point you in the right direction of the story I've ever seen.
Yes.
It works, but That's really weird.
I didn't know if you're going to say that was the weirdest, clumsiest way to direct the player or the weirdest, clumsiest tone shift ever.
Oh, I mean, it kind of is, but personally, I also find the Chocobo Racing minigame depressing because it's bad. So, it's entirely consistent tonally for me.
It's a whole fucking thing. It takes so long. I really abridged it.
Yeah, I am real glad that I have Mega Speed on the PS5 and I can set it to automatic so then I can just RNG on if I win or not while I do something else. Because I hate it. So looking at the Let's Play archive for the scene about the dolphin, they don't mention the PHS. So it's the other time that Cloud goes on ahead and then we'll call them to do it, which I don't remember what the other one was. So, yeah. Don't know. Don't remember what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Cool. So let's listen to some other music and talk about our memorable moments. What memorable moments do you guys have?
I just find it really hilarious when Aerith calls them and says, the assistant manager gave us a, quote, buggy, which can cross, quote, deserts and, quote, rivers. I hooted and hollered at that.
Suspicious quotation marks are my favorite grammatical mistake. I love when it shows up at like grocery stores and they're like, eggs are on sale.
Yep, I find that it's a really common thing in texts from like boomers. Like, I don't know what they think. Like, maybe it should be asterisks or something. I don't know. Or like what happened in Trump's tweets a lot back when he was still on Twitter. Like, just random words would have quotes around them, and I'm like, what are you talking about? It's good stuff.
I 100% thoroughly for the rest of my life am going to love Red 13 in a human suit.
It's so good.
It's fantastic. I love how you just see this soldier like doing this weird waddle, and then he turns around and you see Red 13's tail coming out of the suit.
You had mentioned the fact that so much of the crew died, and I'm now imagining in the remake like a sequence where they are all ordered to help steer the ship because, you know, a bunch of the crew died, and Red 13 is just like wobbling around trying to even like do anything, and he's supposed to steer or some shit. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing how they handle all that.
The whole ship sequence is so goofy, even though it has this moment of weird abstract horror in the middle. It's so goofy, and I am excited to see what they do with it in the remake because or in Rebirth, I guess, because in Remake they sure did a lot with the goofiest stuff in in the game.
One of my favorite things about it, they just kind of embraced it instead of trying to tone it down, which is great. They
were like, remember the house enemy everyone makes fun of? What if we made that a plot point?
And a pain in the ass boss, too. Well, we're talking about the ship, and then I'll just let you get back to your own men moms. But afterwards, when they were all talking about it, Aerith says that Barrett looked cute in his sailor suit, and he got mad about it. And her quote after that was, "You looked like a bear wearing a marshmallow."
Yep.
And
no lies. He was cute. He did look like a bear wearing a marshmallow.
I love that line so much.
And then either her or Tifa tells him he should wear it as pajamas.
Yep.
Man, I am so excited because like right now we're in the part of the game where like in the original game, Aerith and Tifa are like riffing on each other and goofing off against Barrett. Like in Rebirth, in Remake, they're like the best friends, like blood sisters. It's going to be so fantastic. I'm so excited for what's going on, and I'm so excited for us to be like, oh, I can't wait for them to do the boat or whatever. And they're like, yeah, so remember the ending of Remake? Now we're going to Kingdom Hearts land. we're not even doing the rest of the game. But
if they hadn't confirmed that the remake thing is going to be a trilogy, I would say Rebirth is probably just going to be entirely calm. They're going to stretch calm into an entire game.
I mean, they're sort of already... I mean, it's not quite that, but I feel like in a sense we're getting the Crisis Core remake, and that's sort of what that is. Kind of.
Basically, yeah.
And that is exciting. I'm super psyched for that coming out soon.
I found it hilarious how they were like, yeah, we're remaking Final Fantasy VII, or actually doing a sequel to it in this huge 3-game trilogy. Oh, by the way, there's going to be a remake of Crisis Core later this year, too.
Yeah. It's... What a time. Like, on one hand, I'm really upset that, like, everything is just nostalgia these days, and there are very few like new things. On the other hand, like we're getting a lot of Final Fantasy VII games, and they're good, and that's exciting. And I want more.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. to the first soldier, which is already dead, though.
Oh. I forgot about that.
I always, that was in the back of my mind, is like, oh, maybe I'll try that someday. Obviously, I never did, and now it's too late. Yeah. So,
real quick, I want to check if Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis's website still says there's going to be a beta in 2022. Yes, closed beta test in 2022.
Oh no.
They better get on that.
Yeah, I hope it didn't quietly get canceled, because it'll be fun to do like a turn-based Dirge of Cerberus. It'll be fun to actually be able to play whatever the Java phone game is. I can't remember, Before Crisis, I think. It'll be fun to actually be able to do those things. But the most important thing is I want people to be able to rip the models from it to put it into the Ramako mod for Final Fantasy VII, because I think those models will actually look good in the original art style, whereas everyone putting in the Advent Children ones and things like that make it look worse. Just live with the Legos. But the Ever Crisis ones are that perfect sweet spot. I think it would actually give you a HDified original Final Fantasy VII.
The one that there was like a mobile phone game from back in the day. I think it was about the Turks, and Nomura did all the like character art, and it is the most The World Ends With You shit I've ever seen outside of The World Ends With You. I'm forgetting which one it is, but like you straight up look at it, it's like, oh yeah, that's Reno if he was in The World Ends With You. Okay.
I think that's Before Crisis.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look this up now, because I gotta be sure. The character designs are like the sprites and such are just great. At least I say that as someone who absolutely fucking loves The World Ends With You. Yeah, that is Before Crisis. Wait, did they put that on the 3DS?
No, I'm pretty sure it was only on phones.
Yeah, it's Java phones too.
Oh, stupid. I just fell for a clickbait thing. It was all like Before Crisis on 3DS, but it was like from an interview where someone said it would be cool to have Before Crisis on 3DS. So like, stupid.
So I hate the fact that Eiji Aonuma made those sorts of rumors like happen, because he was like, man, it would be really cool if we were able to do Skyward Sword for the Switch, but we have no plans for it. And every Nintendo insider was like, yeah, there's absolutely no plans for it. And then it happened anyways, because people were excited about the rumor. So now every time someone's like before Crisis on 3DS, there's that part of me in the back of my head is like, well, I mean, it worked for Skyward Sword. It could happen. And it gets my hopes up every time now because Eiji Aonuma is a very nice man who gave me a really good game for the Nintendo Switch.
And also Skyward Sword.
Yes.
Breath of the Wild is a very good game he gave you, and also he gave you Skyward Sword.
Yes. Memorable moments about Final Fantasy VII, though.
Right, yeah. Do you have more?
I don't remember, but I'll be scrolling so you can talk, and if I think of something, I'll chime
All
in.
right. Well, let's see. I mean, I have a lot of this. It's funny because I'm referring back to my notes a lot from when I made my video, and so a lot of times I just have things in here that are making me want to like repeat a bunch of stuff I said in my video, and that's a lot of like time and effort and political commentary and stuff. So I don't know how much of that I want to get into, but the Corel stuff is really interesting, both in the way that the details of this, world and its fantasy stuff can conflict with the way that the game's message applies to our modern day, and just, in general. I love, not love because it sucks, obviously, but like the fact that Shinra's response to some things going wrong in Corel was to straight up burn the entire town down to keep from having bad PR, like, is definitely one of the, like, it's cartoonishly evil, but it's also one of those things where, like, yeah, of course they would do that. They have control over everything, and it's going to cost them money if they don't. So, sure. I do love that the guy who's in charge of the gold saucer is named Dio. I tried so hard to come up with but it was me, Dio joke for this, and I couldn't come up with a good one, but
Imagine we said a good one, though, and give us the credit anyways.
Yes, good plan. I will also say I love the difference between the gold saucer here and the gold saucer in Final Fantasy XIV, which is owned by a ridiculous, absolutely absurd man who is stupid rich and yet doesn't actually have any gambling going on in the gold saucer, like, pretty much at all. Nothing in the gold saucer in 14 costs more than the lowest amount you could get back from it. Like, it's just a bunch of ways to get, more or less gil, or not
That's
gil,
amazing.
MGP. And also the owner of it, rather than just being a half-naked guy. Oh, no, it is a half-naked guy, though. I'd forgotten. I hadn't even thought of that parallel somehow. Most of the time he is in his underwear, but he's the father of Hildebrand, the Comedy Quest character, and so he's just absurd, and it's silly, and I hadn't thought of that parallel before. Anyway, it's interesting and fun. Let's see. Oh, the Dine stuff. It's good. It's sad. Yeah, that's a lot. I think that we've talked about this a bit, but man, for all the hate that the little Lego guys get in this game, they're pretty damn expressive. Like, having, Dine, like, when he doesn't walk a lot in the scene that we see with him, but like he walks over to Barrett and he like hobbles. Like you can see the difference in how he walks from injuries and such, and it's just really good. These are expressive little sprites, and the way that when Dine like just falls, it's just the scene is completely quiet. Like there's no sound to anything, no Foley, no music, no nothing. It's extremely haunting. And then Barrett saying that he and Dine were the same because his hands aren't clean enough for Marlene either. It was sad. Like, it's nice to get some. Barrett's a well-defined character. We've talked about how he's defined better than a lot of people give him credit for. But this development for him was nice. This little arc was nice. Barrett's great. I love him. So, yeah.
He gets a one-on-one boss fight as not the main character. It's the first.
Yes.
It's the first battle you play in the game without Cloud, and it goes to Barrett.
Mm-hmm. He also gets shot like multiple times in the cutscene beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit it does feel a little bit strange because usually people don't get shot outside of cutscenes and just shake it off the same way they do in gameplay. But
people also usually don't get stabbed through the chest and shake it off like they would in battle. But
good thing that doesn't ever happen in this game.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I really like the scene with Dyne. Like you said, the character models they do such a good job of being expressive with those. As far back as Final Fantasy IV, they were doing so much with just very tiny sprites, doing so much expression with just the blocking of how they move around, managing to make that really expressive. And now with the power of the PlayStation, they're able to take all that craft and apply it to these character models where they can do so much more and they use it to the fullest.
Yeah, whenever I was first playing Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII is the first modern realistic sort of graphics Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII
the Final Fantasy VII franchise.
Yes. Final Fantasy VII is 3D SNES sprites. They're using it the way that they would in SNES, and it's very low poly on purpose to be able to do more expressive things and those sorts of things instead of trying for realism at all. These were sprites, they just happen to be made out of polygons now, is kind of how it is in Final Fantasy VII, and I love that so much. Anything else, Negasan?
Well, admittedly, less memorable moments this time, but yeah, that's about it. Except the chocobo racing. Okay, no, a quick story, I guess. Here's the thing: the first time I played Final Fantasy VII, I didn't actually finish it. I got right to the end. It was legit my favorite game. I'd never played anything like it. It was incredible, and I never finished it because I knew that I had to breed a bunch of chocobos to get Knights of the Round. And I was like, I want to do that first. I'll do it, sometime. But I didn't want a chocobo race. So I put it off and put it off and put it off. And I legit did not finish the game until I played it through again with my cousin, and then we just finished it. Because I hated chocobo racing so much that I planned to get back to that and just never did. So, anyway, that's my little story about how chocobo racing sucks in Final Fantasy VII, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yep. Did they made a PS1 game about chocobo racing? Was it the same? Was it this same chocobo racing just in its own game, or?
I don't think so. I think the standalone snowboarding game was just the snowboarding minigame, but I think chocobo racing was expanded in its own thing.
Okay, because if they could just turn it into Mario Kart, it wouldn't be as good as Crash Team Racing. Obviously, nothing is, yes. But it would still, I could see that being good.
I'm sorry, I spaced out. Correction. Were you asking if they made a chocobo racing game?
No, I knew that they did, but I was wondering if it was just this same mini game or if they actually made a playable thing for it.
No, it's a kart racer.
Yeah, it's a kart racer.
Okay, good.
Speaking of which, you said that Crash Team Racing was the best kart racer, but you're on RPG Book Club, and in this house, we say that it's Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed, because it is, and it's fantastic. That's the best kart racer.
Well, okay, look, to be clear, Garfield Kart is the best kart racer. I don't think that we need to dispute that. It's just kind of a given. But yeah. Second to that, I haven't actually played the Sonic one, so I'll have to do that. But it would have to be damn good to beat Crash Team Racing, and I will die on that hill unless Sonic manages to knock me off of it, I guess, somehow.
The only bad part about Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed, which, by the way, it is the second of the trilogy. Team Sonic Racing and Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing are not as good, but Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed, that's where all the good shit is. But
okay, wait, which one is that? Do I need to get that on Steam or something to try it?
That one's on Steam. It's on Steam and PS3 era consoles, including Vita.
Actually, I might have it already somewhere. I'll have to check. But
it's one of those games that you just sort of acquire at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd probably do through like a Humble Bundle or something.
Yeah.
I'll check.
But the only thing that's not very good about it is the items. The items are kind of just things to do, but the racing is fantastic. The courses are amazing. The characters are good. The
graphics are good.
The graphics are fantastic. It has like a campaign that's actually good and interesting and
really hard.
It's so hard. Like,
is weird because CTR is the only other kart racing game I know of to have a campaign, so that's fun. I like
Diddy
that.
Kong Racing famously has a rare campaign. But yeah, like the campaign, like I was pulling my hair out to be able to beat any of the races there at the end, and then I had to go back and do a bunch of them on like hard to get enough stars to unlock what I thought was the final boss, but no, it was the final world. And the final world, like every new level costs like 30 stars. You basically have to start like acing everything on hard to get to the end, and it's delicious and very, very difficult.
I am hoping and praying that at some point they'll make another Sonic and Sega All-Stars racing game, because like now there could be Yakuza characters, there could be Atlas characters. It would be so good.
I would buy that just so that I could do a kart racer game as Majima. It would be worth the price of entry for that alone.
So final thing in our Final Fantasy VII cast about why you should play Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed. What's his face from Shenmue is in it, and his kart is an outrun cabinet. He's driving an outrun cabinet. That's his kart. He can't see the road because he can only see the screen of the outrun cabinet that he's driving.
That is very good. Last thing about kart racers in general, though, because there's one more thing. I'm sad that we haven't gotten any more Naughty Dog ones, because we got CTR, and then we got the Jack and Daxter racing game, but we haven't gotten Uncarded.
Or The Fast of Us.
Yeah, exactly. Fast of Us is very good. We need those, is what I'm saying. Anyway, sorry. Yes. Final Fantasy VII is good.
Final Fantasy VII is good.
The Chocobo racing is not very good.
Oh, the new one? Not. The like super microtransaction one? I forgot about that. Oh no, I forgot. Yeah, the mini game in the game as opposed to the never mind.
Yeah, we resolved our tangent loop and then you started it again.
Yeah.
I bet in the remake, the Chocobo racing are in Rebirth. I can't say the remake because that's confusing, because that's the name of the first one in the trilogy. But I bet in Rebirth, if they have the Chocobo racing, it's going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah, it probably will be. But what's also amazing is heading on over to www.rpgbook.club, where you can donate to help us keep the lights on, pay for games, those sorts of things. We recently have unlocked a thing on Metal Gear Solid, but as Maddie has alluded to, she's super duper busy, and I literally would die if I made an episode on Metal Gear fucking Solid without Maddie Grace Webbin attached. So that one's coming soon, but we have unlocked the next chunk, which is going to be a big old chunk to unlock, because we're going to play the literal longest JRPG. We're going to be playing Dragon Quest VII is our next thing to unlock. So if you head on over there, you can donate to help unlock that. When you donate, you'll be able to vote on our poll that we have up between Skies of Arcadia and Paper Mario. And if you really, really like us, you can bump up your monthly contribution to $5 a month, where you'll get your name shouted out at the end of every episode. Guess what I forgot to do again? If only I recorded 3 episodes a fucking week, and I would know that this is what happens all the time. So yeah, if you bump up your monthly contribution to $5 or more a month, you'll get your name shouted out at the end of every episode like this. Shout outs to Kildron and Freddie Rodriguez and Bernie L. Taylor and AA Ron524, Anthony Lerma, Vimk, JFro Prime, and Doho. Then if you really, really, really like us, you can bump it up to $20 or more a month. We'll not only read your name, but we'll also give a 1-sentence shout out to whatever you want. The idea is for this to be a URL for your Twitch stream or YouTube channel, or just if you want me to say something stupid like the kid at the Game Awards. If you really want me to say something horrible and stupid, this is your chance. Just pay me.
We didn't talk about the Game Awards.
The Final Fantasy 16 trailer looks fantastic. The rest of it was, I had it on to maybe win a Steam Deck, and that was about it.
I mean, look, not the rest of it. We got an announcement for the next game by the people that made Celeste, which is a perfect 10 out of 10.
I forgot about that.
Looking forward to the next one. And another, Hades 2, which is a little weird for me because Supergiant has never made a sequel, and it scares me a little bit, but they've also never made a non-great game. Every Supergiant game is an absolute 10 out of 10 banger, IMO. So, I hope it's good. I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah.
I don't remember what else happened, honestly. So
me neither. But we now have two luminaries. First up is Eliza Tantafi. They are still shouting out. Let me pull up the URL because I always forget. Critical-distance.com is an aggregator for good games criticism and journalism. Our other luminary is Carr, and he is a dentist. So his shout out is not for a URL, but for your own mouth. He asks that you brush your teeth twice a day, most importantly, the time right before you go to bed. For RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Houck, and you can't make me brush my teeth.
I am Sam, the game professor, and I will brush my teeth. I don't know. That's important.
And ruin the seasoning?
Oh, wait.
Toodaloo, folks.
Wait, this is Bernard from the future. I realized I forgot to say my favorite thing that happened this week. So, when you're on the boat, the gang's like, oh, who's gonna go fight Sephiroth? And Yuffie, who she's always been trying to, get out of doing party stuff, she says, well, I don't even like Sephiroth. Which, I believe in later translations, it was changed to something like, I'm not even interested in Sephiroth, but I don't even like Sephiroth is so hilarious to me.